So something you may have heard before since I've mentioned a lot is that I really like to watch old-ass commercials from Nickelodeon Cartoon Network. Well, by old-ass, I mean specifically the late 90s, 1998 in particular, but I mean anything will do. Anyway, I've come to really fucking love Nickelodeon during 1998, and, I genuinely think that was their peak, especially during the summer of that year, because it's just fucking awesome. They have so much variety. There's so much fun enjoying the bumpers and heart and love into it. And all of their shows were just so fucking good, too. Even the more obscure stuff had, charm and stuff to like for it. Cartoon Network, on the other hand, when I recall Cartoon Network and what they were airing at that time, and I go back and I watch their bumpers and their commercials from that time, too, and see everything that was playing and shit. Now, everything I'm saying here, it's very subjective, it's very opinionated, don't take it too seriously, it's just an idea and feel that I have and everything. But man, Cartoon Network in 1998 is fucking boring. I fucking watched this shit back then, and unlike Nickelodeon, where it has the exact opposite reaction, I just get fucking bored watching it. I just want to fucking skip everything, and I mean, they aired so much fucking old shit, and by old shit, I mean, 1960s, 70s Hanna-Barbera, not good Hanna-Barbera shit, but, their most, dull, fucking repetitive, low budget, low effort crap, even if it comes from a super recognizable brand like Yogi or Scooby, they air, the most fucking boring and worst stuff for it constantly, and they will air movies that they made then, and they just have, the same three fucking bumpers, promoting it, and you see it the first time, and it's oh, it's a little bit interesting, but then they repeat it again and again and again and again, and you're just fucking done, compared to Nickelodeon, where they had way more varieties. You would hardly ever see repeats and bumpers, and if you did, it was, far enough in between, and it's just generally a really fun bumper to see, and again, the shows accompanying it, too, are also quality, unlike here, where they air some fucking thing that nobody wants to watch and hasn't watched since 1979 or something like that, and it just reminds me so much of when you would be sick from school, and it would be fucking 10 a.m. or something, you just desperately need something on the TV, and it's, oh my god, it's Cartoon Network, and they're airing some shit nobody fucking wants, why do they have to do this to me, why, and it's not a good feeling at all. Now, I know this might seem a bit controversial, since Cartoon Network during the late 90s is considered to be their golden age. And me, with all the shit I've covered, you'd think that I'd like that age, and yes, I do, it's my favorite age of Cartoon Network. Why am I criticizing it so much right now? Well, watching this, I've come to realize that Cartoon Network really didn't get awesome until 1999, and when you look at the commercials and bumpers from then, you can tell, because there actually is a really big improvement, and yeah, what people think about Cartoon Network with their golden age and what they love about it, everything really is just 1999 in particular, specifically that year, that 1 year just got everything right, and you think about the most classic bumpers and the most famous shows and all of that amazing shit, that's all specifically from 1999, the parking spot bumper that I had as an image in the beginning of this probably is from 1999, and so is all of their other stuff, and Cartoon Fridays, 1999, and their whole entire big original lineup from that 1999, yes, in 98 and shit, they had Dexter and Johnny Bravo already on, but they would play it, but, you would get all of this other fucking crap far and few between, and I'm not saying every really old classic Hanna-Barbera thing is shit, no, I have a soft spot for Augie Doggy and crap like that. I'm just saying most of it is shit. I think we can agree and be mature about this here. Some biases and personal opinions aside, I think we can agree it's very cheap and bad quality stuff a lot of the time, and, ironic liking is from a side too. Two Stupid Dogs is cool though, even though that's like a 90s thing. But yeah, Cartoon Network, everything that we loved about it, that hit in 1999, and it could have hit a little bit sooner, maybe late 1998, and that corresponds with the opposite that was going on with Nickelodeon too, which I'll touch on in a second, but Cartoon Network really fucking hit in 1999 after a rough 98 start. Like, maybe the channel was watchable then, and you could see the stuff building up to it, but it was then where they really hit it. And then by the 2000s, it already started a little gradual downfall, but it wasn't so bad at all, especially compared to Nickelodeon. But the show that ended up saving Cartoon Network by, like, complete unintent, this may seem really fucking biased for obvious reasons once I say it, but I really truly feel this way. I think Ed and Eddie is a show that saved Cartoon Network and had it hit big time. I really truly think that. It was meant to premiere earlier in like November of 1998, but they had pushed back to January of 1999. And the moment that show premiered, that's when you really feel a difference, because that's when Dexter and Johnny Bravo had their runs in, I think Count Chicken and I Am Weasel too, but they're still having reruns all the time and stuff, and Powerpuff Girls started a little bit earlier, I believe, but 1999 was when that show also started to really carry out and have its other two seasons, and Courage also premiered around 1999. And Ed and Eddie was like the big one to come and set off that and have Cartoon Network really start focusing on all of their like original classics, because by then they actually had enough to kind of promote it. And you know, that's when you start seeing more bumpers of like the tone that people really like and that famous blue background, and a lot more variety of them too, and all of the Cartoon Network characters interacting with each other and crap like that. Again, there was some of that beforehand, but it was much further and few in between. It really amped up in the 90s, and I think they got better commercials to fucking start airing too and shit. And again, you can really see the big quality improvement then, and Cartoon Fridays premiered, and yeah, everything that people loved about CNN in the 90s really took off in 1999. I just feel like a lot of people forgot about that, and they think like, oh, 1996, once Dexter came and cartoons, that's when it hit. But I mean, really, it took a long time to get up there, and it really wasn't until 1999 where they super truly struck their golden age. Nickelodeon, on the other hand, and again, like I said, this fits even better if Ed and Eddie premiered at the date they originally planned to, but Nickelodeon, as much as I loved it in summer of 1998, I feel like it was right after that where they start to slowly dwindle down. Because, again, this is all personal preferences, but once November came along, that's when the Rugrats movie premiered, and that's when fucking Dill came and completely ruined that show, and it killed off their top ace show at the time. And then 1999 happened, and SpongeBob premiered on Nickelodeon. Now, I need to clarify this. I'm annoyed that I feel like I still need to clarify this every time, but I guess it's just the way it is. But I like the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob as much as the next guy, but the show accidentally, unintentionally, is what ruined Nickelodeon. I hate saying it that way because it sounds like the awful fucking stupid videos I made fun of in the last April Fool's one. But it did, just because that show, like, suddenly took off so fast and got so fucking big and shit that they're like, hey, we need to milk off this, and they started dropping off and ignoring all their other shit, and by then they started to focus on a more quote-unquote suburban audience in the 2000s, which is just a nicer way of saying that they whitewashed the shit off everything. But yeah, that sadly happened, and 1999, it was also when, like, their other shows are starting to disappear, and a lot of their live action talent was, like, leaving and moving on to college and other things and shit like that, and it was just all kind of an unfortunate time. It was truly the end, and despite all of that, despite the fact that it was 1999, I don't consider SpongeBob to be a 90s Nickelodeon show, and I don't really consider 1999 to be, like, as part of their 90s lineup in general. I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way and get it. But yeah, it's interesting that the moment Nickelodeon starts to show signs of dwindling, Cartoon Network suddenly just spiked right up. And yeah, I mean, it was a weird ass year. It kind of just lasted for that 1 year, but it happened. So I guess in conclusion, I see it as 98 and the years beforehand, Nickelodeon, fucking king. But the 1999, that's when Cartoon Network rose up and fucking like made their identity, and that's what everybody loves about it. Like, you think Cartoon Network, you think Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and Ed and Eddie and Cartoon Fridays. That was all centered in 1999, and yeah, it truly was the attitude era of cartoons at the time, and video games and everything, and yeah, and candy. But yeah, I think that basically says what I wanted to say about that. There's the Wilford Cthulhu podcast. Thank you for watching. But yeah, see you all next time. Take care.